to what? Today we're talking about Burning Man. Why are we talking about Burning Man? Because it's coming up, 2019. And I was at 2018 as a first-time burner who never considered herself a burner or a burner type or whatever. And I went to Burning Man 2018. I'm going to put all my photos at the end of this video. I want to tell you the story, and then you can see how it was. When somebody first mentioned going to Burning Man, I thought, what? Me? At Burning Man? What? You're crazy. I had a roommate back in school who would go to Burning Man every year, and she'd pack and get ready, and was so excited to go, and then she'd come back covered in dust from head to toe. All of her stuff had to be kept on the back porch of the place, and she talked about it like it was a religious experience. And the whole time I kept thinking, what? You're crazy. And many years went by, and it never occurred to me. I would see the burners come back, because I lived in San Francisco. I'd see all the burners come home. You can see the lines of the car wash. You could see cars parked just covered in dust. And I used to think, these people are crazy. You know, why would you subject yourself to that? And you'd hear stories about it was like 110 degrees and the winds were blowing and I was wearing goggles and we were dancing in the desert and living under the stars. And, you know, I thought, it sounds terrible, frankly. It sounds like a living hell. Why would anybody do that? So fast forward maybe 20 years, and I'm getting a little older and still in San Francisco, loving it, and somebody says, hey, we're going to Burning Man. Do you want to come? And I thought, I was kind of putting together a bucket list in my mind, but I wasn't really calling it a bucket list. I was putting together a list of things that, you know, why haven't I tried? Why don't I try this? You know, life is getting short. You know, life is short. Life is getting shorter every day that passes. I'm thinking, you know, I'm not really living life. I'm just kind of cruising through it. And I want to have big things to look forward to, and I want to plan, I want to have experiences. It's not about getting a new car. It's not about getting things. It's about living life and, you know, finding out who you are and what you can do. I said, yes, let's do it. Then the planning started. I'm a planner. I plan everything out and I write it out. I write notes. I keep notebooks. I do outlines. I just kind of who I am. So I started planning. There were 3 of us going. My friend Daniel, my friend Hope, and myself. We had no tickets at the time. We had no camp to be with. We just had the 3 of us. We needed to each get a ticket to get in. We needed a car pass. We needed, you know, either a location to camp or a camp, an existing camp to be with. And pretty much everything. I think Daniel had a tent. I didn't have a tent. I had a sleeping bag. I had a flashlight. But really, I had nothing else. I was absolutely ill-prepared for this journey. Hope and Daniel and I got together and tried to make a kind of like a plan on how to do this. And it didn't really move forward that quickly. And Hope and I were kind of like, we really need to get on this. Let's, you know, and Daniel was more like, it'll happen. Don't worry. Come on, it'll happen. And then Hope got an invite from the nicest people from the fastest pizza camp. And they invited us to come and stay at their camp. And I was like, awesome. You know, the infrastructure's there. So we can just join them. We can minimize what we need to bring. Food, water, our immediate stuff, because you have self-reliance is a main tenet of Burning Man. So I thought, okay, well, you know, but it'll be a lot less than having to create like shade structures and, I mean, just making choice how it's done. And we'll be with other people. We'll get to meet all kinds of new people, and it'll be awesome. Daniel didn't think so. So our buddy wanted to start in camp alone, one of the three of us to not be with a camp and just to be the three of us. Hope and I were kind of like, that's a little scary. Why not just go and be with them? They're being so gracious. They're letting us in and inviting us to be part of their group. Let's do it. It sounds great. We went back and forth, and Daniel did not want to join a group. It had nothing to do with the people. He didn't even know them. He had never met them. I hadn't met them. But frankly, I didn't care. I mean, I just thought that, how bad can they be if they're opening up their camp to us and wanting to share their experience with us? I mean, let's do it. Let's try it. And what's the worst that can happen? Either we'll leave or we'll go find another place to camp. I mean, we're not stuck. But again, Daniel wanted to do the whole thing and experience the entire thing from ground to completion on our own. And that was too much of an undertaking for me and Hope. We were just like, dude, that's too much. I really think that we should do this with this camp. The time passed. More time passed, and Burningman was getting closer and closer and closer. And then Daniel decided not to go. He was turning 50, and he had a huge plan, a trip planned to Asia for 5 weeks, and he wanted to focus on that in October. And he wanted to put all of his finances and his efforts into building that trip. And, I understood. So Daniel decided not to go. So then Hope and I said, we're joining a camp. We're going to join the Fastest Pizza Camp. It was time for me to meet them. So Nikki, the camp founder, and her wonderful husband, Rhett, came to town, and Chris, another friend of ours, hosted an afternoon together on her rooftop, and I got to meet them. And wow. The nicest people, and funny and kind and welcoming, and so I'm in. We're going. We're going to be part of the Fastest Pizza Camp. They've been doing it for years. Let's do it. I cut down on what I had to buy, but I still needed outfits because it's a costume party basically. I still needed a headlamp, I need a bicycle, I needed to figure out how much water to take, how much food to take, what type of food to take, how to cook it. One thing I still had was a tent that Daniel had purchased for us, and he was going to let us use it. And it was this massive 3-winged 9 or 10 person tent, and we were taking that. So we had a cooler. We were going to take my truck, load it all in the back of my truck. So basically we had to get all of our living day-to-day things. And this is where the stress kicked in. I thought, what kind of costume am I going to wear? I am pretty, I don't want to say conservative because I'm not a conservative in any way. But I think in my day-to-day existence, black T-shirts and jeans or shorts, tennis shoes or flip-flops. And I thought, I don't want to go out there and looking like some goofball. So I want to enjoy and partake in the costumes and the parties and everything. So what am I going to wear? So Hope and I started shopping. We were going to, and Daniel was still helping us, and we were going to places like Goodwill, and we would go to down on Mission Street. There are a bunch of stores that just sell crazy stuff. And so I got these silver pants, I got these green reflective pants, tights. I have a big pair of black boots, and then Hope's roommate, Jen, who loaned us so much stuff. Thank you, Jen. To go. And she loaned me a black fur coat. If I can't wear a black t-shirt, wear a black fur coat. And so I took that with me. And also a furry brown vest. And then I see what we had with us so far was a big tent, 9-person, 3-wing tent. And we had something called the monkey hut that Daniel purchased off of Craigslist. It's looks like an airplane hangar, and it's made of PVC pipes and bungee cords and a big tarp. And the thing was huge. It's like 15, 20 feet by 12, 15 feet. And that was gone. Daniel was like, yeah, go ahead and take that. I had a cooler, and I had, like I said, a sleeping bag, a flashlight. I had purchased the goggles off Amazon. I purchased wraps to go around my head and my neck. I had purchased reflective tape, reflective straps, lighting for the bike, glow-in-the-dark tape for the bike, a camping set of dishes and silverware, all matching. A little cup, because you had to take a little cup. That's key. You got to take a little cup with you. And like a little carabiner, and attach it to your pants or something, or your bike. Because when you're going around and you're, going to bars, going to other people's camps, and they give you things, drinks, share drinks with you, you have to provide your own little cup. That cup looked like hell by the time I got back. I was drinking coffee in it in the morning, and then mimosas next, and then after that we'd go out to bars, and then I'd come home and have another cup of coffee, and then have another drink. It was just like that cup, pretty nasty. Because you got to be, cautious with how much water you're using. And like I did the dishes several nights in our camp, and it was like, you got to be really careful because water goes quickly, and once it's gone, it's gone. We brought 8 of those huge, big, water bottles, big round ones, little spout on top, huge. We just went to Home Depot. And funny, when we were at Home Depot, I was loading these big water bottles into the shopping cart, and this dude next to me goes, "You going to Burningman?" And I was like, "Yeah." "You?" And he's like, "Yeah." And we exchanged names, and we talked a little bit, and I went out in the parking lot and talked to Hope, and I was like, "I just met this nicest guy," and I was telling her about him, and she's like, "I know him." I was like, "Get out of here. How do you know him?" And she's like, "I totally know him. I know him from," and she told me where she'd known him from. And we ended up running into him on the Playa and hanging out with him and talking with him. It was really cool. San Francisco's huge, but it's a small world. And this community is, when everybody's gearing up to go, pretty much any store you walk into, you can find people who are stashing up for Burning Man. Come to find out, I didn't notice it until I was part of it. And that was fun. That was exciting. So I took the time off of work. My boss was really cool about it. I took off 12 days. We were supposed to be there for, I believe, 9 days. And I needed a few days to rest because I'd been warned about re-entry and didn't quite believe it, but I planned for it just in case. So I laid everything out, and in my living room and on my dining room table, to figure out exactly what I had and what I needed to get. And I was getting close. I had a checklist, and I think I had pretty much everything. I wish I'd taken pictures at that stage, because you didn't believe the amount of stuff that I was bringing to Burning Man. It looked like I was moving and never coming back, as it looked like. And the plan was, I didn't want to load everything in the truck the night before because someone would walk by and take it out of my truck. So I was going to get up the crack of dawn the next morning, and I'm packing the truck. I'm out in front of my house and carrying this big old monkey hut. And I'm by myself. I'm packing this big monkey hut out in the truck, and I'm putting in the cooler and my bicycle, and I'm trying to strap it down because I don't have a cargo net, which I should have purchased, a huge cargo net to go over the top. I have a Toyota Tacoma, and I was just using these ratchet straps, and I was using bungee cords and pretty much anything I could do to nail something down so it wouldn't fly out the back of my truck down the highway. So I got it all set and went to pick up Hope. And by the time I got down there and looked at my truck to get Hope's stuff into the truck, I had almost taken up the whole back of the truck already with my stuff. So got Hope's stuff in, rearranged. We kind of took most of my stuff out, except for the bikes. My bike, put everything in there, rearranged it, got it ready. We're ready to go. So we went to meet Chris and Alan. I'd met Alan once before at a pre-Burningman meeting. Nice guy. Didn't really know him that well. But Chris and Alan were driving up, and they were driving a smaller car, and it was pretty loaded. So we started off. We left the city, and we headed to Blackrock City. It took us several hours to get near. We stopped at a Walmart to get stuff. We stopped at a Cabela's, which I had never been to before. Wow. It's a little bizarre. Large stuffed animals, not stuffed animals, like we're talking about real animals who have been shot, killed, and stuffed. Like tigers and lions and bears and just big animals, all kinds of hunting, everything you could possibly want in camo. Not my thing. But we were looking for like hats, and I think Chris needed something, but we were all, let's go shopping. Don't mind anything big because there's no room, but we can still get a little couple of things. Even the back seat, I have an access cab, so it's a 2-door with the doors swing back open. Even those were packed. So then we got in and we started heading out, and it was crazy. We get there, we start heading into the desert, and it's just nothing and nothing and nothing. And then you go through these small reservations that have, we were warned, police just waiting for burners to speed through. And so you've got to be very careful going through because, I don't blame them. People are speeding through their town. So a little nerve-wracking at times going through, and you would see a sign that you were entering and you needed to slow down, and the speed limit would come way down. And so crawling along, watching, and then you'd see the cops on the side of the road. Don't want to wave, you don't want to do too, they look like an idiot, so you keep going. And then we got to Blackrock City, and I could see it. What was set up so far. I couldn't see it from the road, but I could see the line. We also had early entry tickets to go and help build our camp. So we were going a couple days. We went, I think, Thursday, and general admission opening was Sunday. And we were going, and I thought we were just going to zip right in. They'd said that there would be some kind of a line, and that makes sense. But I didn't think that there'd be a line. I thought it would just be a line. And the line, I think I could just make out the front of it as far as my eye could see. I was like, this isn't just a line, this is a line. We're going to be here for hours. So we started inching along. And every time we'd come to look like we were going to stop, people would all get out. There were I think there were probably 7 or 8 lines of people, of cars, and a lot of motorhomes. And at every stopping point, we would all get out and start taking pictures. And that went on, and start talking to your neighbors, talking to people over there, swapping stories. And that went on and on and on for almost 7 hours. Yeah, 7 hours. It was a long, long day. The sun had gone down. We'd watched the beautiful sunset. By the time we actually got up to the entrance, it was dark. The winds had picked up a little bit. And I've been told what going in as a first-time burner, what your experience is like and what they do to you or with you. So I knew what to expect. I was nervous. I was very nervous. Because the story I was told was when you get up to the gate and they ask you, how long's it been since you've been to Blackrock City? And you say, well, I've never been here. And they say, virgin! And you go out of the car and they have you do something. Either sing a song or dance or do something. Or roll around in the dirt. And I was tired and it was late. I mean, it must have been like 11:30 maybe at night. I mean, it was really late. I had already lost track of time and no phone service. I mean, things had started. So I got out of the car. This nice guy, I wish I could remember his name. He was the nicest guy. And Hope was a virgin burner too. So we got out of the car and he was talking to us and then he had us roll around in the dust. So we got on the ground and rolled around and we were covered in dust. And then we went and banged this bell and screamed, I'm not a virgin anymore. And hugs, and he's like, welcome. And I mean, it was just this, it was like we had come home. I mean, it was really touching. It was cool. So we get back in the car and, the whole concept of keeping the car clean, gone. We hadn't even gotten in there yet. We were just arriving. So we got in line for our tickets, we got in line for our early entrance pass, and we got into the event and started driving. And I was blown away by the streets, how demarcated everything is. I mean, it's a city. It's like you walk, there's intersections, and the streets are wide. The main streets to the center camp are super wide, and the bands that go outward are, because it's like a big horseshoe shape, are wide. I think they're not as wide, but they're wide. And so we pulled into our camp, and it was, people were out partying already, and the winds had picked up even more. And our campmates came out to greet us. We parked, and everyone was so nice. The thing with Burningman is that everybody, they hug you. And, I mean, literally, I had already gotten more hugs since when I left my house that morning than I have had in, months. These people they're just huggers, and it's really nice. I came out, gave us hugs, and I don't mean these people in my campmates. I think just the culture, it's very physical and it's nice. And so I went, got out of my truck and started unloading stuff. And my friend Hope and I proceeded to get into a fight. It was like, I thought we were going to do things one way. You get there, and this was my first lesson that everything goes right out the window. All of the planning, all of, how you're going to do things, you can't hang on to it. It just went. I thought I was going to put our tent next to my truck. We're going to run a tarp off the truck to make a shade structure. Didn't happen. They were like, no, put your truck over there, put your tent here, but and I was like, that was my first lesson in letting go. So we got into a fight. It didn't last for long, just lasted a couple hours, 2 hours maybe. And tent mates came out, or the campmates came out, and they were like, welcome to Burningman. Everybody gets into a fight at one point or another. It's stressful. So you've gotten that out of the way. Let's have a drink. So set the tent up, and it was blowing. It was like, I can't even remember how fast the winds were, how strong the winds were, but it was blowing. And we got the tent up, and it was having a hard time staying in place, and the supports were buckling. So got into our tent, set things up as best we could, put up the air mattress, inflated the air mattress, and went to bed. So the next morning I woke up and I walked out of the tent and was just blown away. Those of you going in 2019, enjoy your burn. Live and let live. Go with the flow. Have a good time. Be kind to one another. And let me know when you get back how it was. Until next time, when I say, what?